Hi, welcome back to Dr. Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain action-adventure movie called Troll 2022. Watch out and subscribe to this new channel for movies. A young girl named Nora is shown at the start of the film story. While climbing the mountains with her father, Nora's father thinks differently from the world, that if they will see from there, hard things will seem different. If we will see the mountains, we will see the things that are just in stories. Trolls are still present in the dark, they keep themselves hidden from the rest of the world. Nora's father told her a story many years ago that there were 13 trolls at a wedding who were drunk, they were unconscious, and the time passed likewise. The sunlight fell on them and they turned into stones. Now they are in those mountain stones, but Nora feels this is just a story because there were just mountains in front of her. Nora's father asks her to see from her heart and you'll see trolls. Meanwhile, Nora sees a glimpse of trolls and mountains. Trolls look like humans, but were huge in size, and they weren't harmful to humans. The story moves further, and now Nora has grown elder and was digging at a place with her team. They didn't find any precious thing during the digging. Her team was digging that place for 6 months, but they didn't find any huge thing there. The team leader makes Nora understand that we should leave now. Nora still wants time because her father taught her to trust herself. She doesn't care about anyone and was digging, then suddenly finds something huge on the other side. The gunpowder was being filled in the mountains to be blasted because a station was made there. As the bombs blasted, there was a huge explosion, and when the workers move inside to check, they see something coming to them. The workers were running, being scared, and to know this matter, the military commander arranges a meeting to which Nora was also invited. The Prime Minister's advisor welcomes Nora, named Andreas. Nora sees the video in which the huge footprints are shown, and the people sitting there believe that this will be a huge thing, or maybe this happened because of a storm. Nora says clearly that these are the footprints, but none was taking Nora's words seriously. Meanwhile, another girl arrives and shows them a video in which they see a huge thing. They all become surprised and scared that what is this thing? After it, an old couple is shown who are enjoying their evening tea. The old man sees his dog barking continuously. Meanwhile, their house starts shaking and the couple moves underground to escape, and everything was shaking there. They come out after a while and they find their house destroyed. To know all this, Nora and Andreas were sent to them. On the way, Andreas asks Nora about her father, and she tells her mother died many years ago, but her father is alive and her father's thinking is different from this world. That's why he lives alone. Andreas tells Nora about himself, that he wanted to be a writer, but he couldn't be, and while talking, they reach that old couple. They meet a captain who tells someone came while crossing the stream and went far toward the mountains. They found huge footprints at a distance of 3 kilometers. And afterward the impressions vanish. Nora arrives at the old couple and the old woman tells Nora that she heard an unusual voice like somebody's crying, and that was peculiar yet unexpectedly vanished, and how this gigantic thing can vanish out of nowhere. Hearing the woman, Nora contacts her dad with Andreas and the chief. Since her dad has seen mountains so intently, none understands the mountains better than Nora's father. Nora contacts her dad, and there were many savage pictures in her home. Nora's father tells when the work was going on quite a while back, something emerged from the mountains, yet it was challenging to demonstrate it. Around then, the public authority has deleted all the evidence. However, at that point, Nora says even today something emerged from the mountains. Her dad tells her a long time prior savages used to meander openly. That assuming any human has a relationship with savages, that human was given discipline. Quite a long time back the savages emerged and Nora's father found them, yet Nora's father was proclaimed crazy and was shipped off the psychological refuge. Later, Nora moves to that spot with her dad and the impressions were eliminated from that point, and Nora's father were gazing the stones. Nora was remaining with the commander and Andreas a ways off and watching her dad on it. They were saying your dad isn't looking great and his state of mind isn't well. Nora likewise feels that her dad has been lost in the narratives, and she goes to her dad and attempts to make him comprehend. She feels a bizarre smell and there were dark mists out of nowhere, yet when she pivots she sees an eye. There was a colossal savage and genuine, and it was remaining before them. The skipper takes every one of them from that point, and moving from that point they show this video in their camera to a tactical camp. None was trusting on it, and Nora's father was all the while discussing savages, yet none accepts his accounts. That is the reason he was tossed out from that point. Here, Nora requests time to comprehend everything except the head of the state says we haven't a lot of time for you to see this. We will hang tight for the time, however, until you comprehend what is that thing. That thing will obliterate us. The further undertaking will be constrained by the military, and anything that thing will be finished. Nora moves to the skipper and requests that he take her with him and says, I need to go with you, yet he wasn't permitted to take 3 of them with him, and still. At the end of the day, he concurs with Nora, and the tactical lets them know the savages' area. Later, they all arrive at there, and the fighters were sent there, and they need to sit tight for the savage here. Nora's father apologizes to her since he didn't invest a lot of energy with her. She has consumed her time on Earth as she has none in this world. Even her dad was alive, yet Nora says, I'm in good company. My dad is with me. After it, the savage shows up, yet it halted at its place since it found there are individuals in the environmental factors, and the skipper requests to take shots from the start, yet that discharging wasn't influencing the savage, and it ends up being enraged. It was going after them, because of which many troopers were finished, yet Andreas stowaway with Nora and her dad behind a stone. There was a fighter with them who was a Christian, and the savage gobbles that warrior while getting him. Seeing this, Nora's father says the savages perceive the Christians and can smell them. After it, they go before the savage and request that it be quiet and have boldness, then requests that it stop there. Amazingly, the savage was understanding him and it becomes quiet. In the meantime, a couple of fighters were again going after the savage, and it again ends up being irate, because of which it closes a couple of warriors. The savage erroneously closes Nora's father, yet doing this, it communicates its distress and leaves while seeing Nora's father. There was something unusual, and Nora's father becomes harmed, and he was counting his final gasp while saying regal, royal residence, and house, and kicks the bucket in the wake of saying this. Nora has lost her dad, and presently she has none in this world. The next day, the captain tells Nora there will be an air attack that will be harmful to them. Nora starts searching about trolls and discovers that trolls don't like the church bells. That's why they attack the church. Nora places all those clues in front, and the captain was also supporting her. The commander gives Nora another chance while thinking about what Nora said, because if the trolls can be stopped to avoid destruction, it is a good thing. Nora's plan was to stop the troll while ringing the church bells, and Nora's this idea works, and when the troll hears the church bells, it couldn't bear them. It was breaking all the bells, and after it, it becomes out of control while hearing those bells due to it. A kid was about to lose her life, but the troll saves that kid and doesn't let anything happen to her. Everyone was surprised to see this, and then the troll sees Nora, and after it, it leaves. Nora's idea doesn't work, so she was thrown out of this mission, and the government thinks to attack the troll with a missile. The city was made vacant because of this. They will bear a lot of impairment after it. Andreas is shown going to drop Nora at home. Nora wasn't understanding where the troll will move now. Here, she remembers what her father said, who took Royal Palace's name while dying, and Nora decides to go there. Reaching there, she meets the chief minister of the king. He tells it was believed in the old era that if a king's house is made on another king's house, it is a good sign, and tells there was Troll's house before the palace, and they were called the King of Mountains. They don't like the church bells, that's why the king ended all of them and left a boy alive, and that boy was sent to the darkness of the mountains while scaring him, so he will die there. That's why the troll wants to come here as it awoke after years, and it wants to come back to its home. The minister shows him a few skeletons of trolls in the basement, and when Nora puts light on a skeleton, it becomes stone. Here, she recalls the story led by her dad, know what befell the 13 savages. When there was daylight on them, they become stone. It was written in the narratives that light is their foe. On the off chance that a sharp light falls on savages, they transform into stones. Nora calls the chief and enlightens him her arrangement regarding how they can end the savage so they won't bear an enormous weakness. She requests that he come to an open field and requests that he organize a tremendous nearby planet group. Afterward, Nora and Andreas placed the skeleton of that kid in their vehicle, the kid who was shipped off the cavern by the Lord since he frightened him. There was a savage, so the monster savage will pursue them seeing it, and they can take it to the open field. There was a declaration on the radio that the rockets will be sent off sooner or later, yet Nora needs to shut down those rockets to make her arrangement effective. Andreas calls his buddy so she can hack the framework. She does likewise and hacks the framework. The rockets were halted, and the skipper has additionally set the nearby planet group. On another side, Nora and Andreas stand in that savage's way with that kid's skeleton. The Savage moves behind them when it sees the skeleton, and Nora drives her vehicle quickly. However, when she stops her vehicle unexpectedly, the skeleton tumbles down. After it, the Savage gets the skeleton and begins sobbing while at the same time seeing it, and Nora was additionally sympathizing with its aggravation. The Savage has none on the planet, and it was distant from everyone else. In the meantime, the skeleton tumbles down and breaks. Now it ends up being enraged and moves behind Nora and Andreas. Nora was driving rapidly to escape from the Savage. They arrive at that field, and the Savage was going to hold them, yet Nora and Andreas hop from their car. The Chief turns the nearby planet group on in this field. On another side, it was found in the tactical camp that the rocket framework is hacked. They again enact the framework, and the rockets were additionally sent off, yet when the leader finds that there are warriors, he stops the rockets to be sent off. When there was a ton of light in the open field that fell on the Savage, it began shouting, and it was transforming into stone step by step. Since it was feeling torment, it was sobbing while at the same time shouting, and afterward Nora acknowledges they all are fouling up. Their beginning and end was grabbed while finishing them. Despite the fact that they weren't perilous to people, they are made by the nature and furthermore reserve the option to remain alive. And she switches off the planetary group and stands before the Savage. She requests that the Savage leave. She says to leave and move far and conceal in the obscurity once more. They will end you. The Savage was likewise understanding what Nora was saying, yet it was past the point of no return, and the Savage was changing into a stone. It becomes stone, and Nora feels terrible that she was unable to save the Savage. Indeed, the group of the tactical camp arrives at there, and the state head says to Nora that her dad's accounts were valid. Her dad had forever been coming clean. Andreas leaves his work and says, "I need to be an essayist." Andreas asks Nora, in the event that there are savages in the mountains, Nora snickers and says that anything can occur. The world is huge. This closes the film. Thanks for watching.